I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but the platform, it's a new news website that seems to be asking the right questions. And what they found recently was that schools are actively hiding important personal information about their students from the parents. And as a parent, you should be concerned, even outraged. So this new news website, the platform, it was contacted by the parent of a 13-year-old girl in New Zealand who received a questionnaire, and it was sent by the girls' school via her form teacher. So it's private between the form teacher and the 13-year-old girl, and it was headed "Pronouns in School." And you'll see here the second question was, after the formalities, what is your gender identity? Male, female, but then it also offers non-binary and gender fluid. And there's even a category for other. I mean, what others are there? Is it Martian? What is it? Now, the problem is that a tick in the box to the question to a young person of, do you think you are transgender, cannot be compared in accuracy with what the DSM-5 says, according to which childhood gender dysphoria, believing you're the other sex, it's based on a number of things, including a marked incongruence between natal and perceived gender, lasting at least 6 months, manifested by at least 6 features, including a strong desire and insistence on, together with a strong preference for the company, clothing, and toys of the opposite sex, and its role in fantasy play, and associated with reaction of the stereotypes of its natal sex, including anatomy. And also, to comply with dysphoria with this assessment, there should be significant distress or impairment in functioning. Now, that's according to the DSM-5. It's not according to a 13 or 14-year-old self-assessing themselves and having a bit of fun on a school form. But then the form goes on and asks this: what are your pronouns? He, him, his, or she, her, hers? Now, they could have stopped there, but they keep going. Or they, them, theirs, or no pronouns, prefer to use my name. Oh, that's interesting. Or other. Now, I'm pretty shocked that they haven't offered the full list of options. According to the University of Wisconsin, here is the full list. You can see him, he, him, his, hers, and she, her, hers, herself. But down the bottom there, we've got a few interesting ones. That second to bottom one, sie, them, zer, zers, zer, self. But anyway, further down, the school then asks this question. And it says, would you want your parents to know, and how would you want us to keep it from them? Now, let me read that again. This is based on pronouns that a child wants at school and how they want to identify. Would you want your parents to know, and how would you want us to keep it from them? Now, that is shocking that they've even suggested that to a young person and even put it in their mind as an option. And credit to the young person who showed this to their parent, who was then able to raise the alarm so that we can warn you as parents. Now, the platform, the news website commentary, it then goes on to say this: Netsafe, New Zealand's independent, non-profit online safety organisation, describes how encouraging children to keep secrets from their parents or family whānau is a sign of grooming. Groomers may also, according to Netsafe, seek to paint parents as uncaring or likely to get angry in order to discourage children from going to them for help. So what happens when it is a school creating a narrative that parents are likely to be unaccepting and harmful to their children? Why is the school offering to keep secrets? Well, it's a very good question. But see, we shouldn't be surprised by this. It's still shocking, but it's coming from the top. Now, in our recent report, which spells out all these issues, and it's available on our website, and it shows how you as a parent can tackle your schools on these if your school has gone down this rabbit hole, we highlight this point. The ministry has recommended that schools normalise transgender identities, consider ways to increase the use of gender diverse language in the classroom, Question gender stereotypes and norms for children as young as 5 years old. Affirm diversity, and says that using gendered language such as girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, can be alienating for gender non-conforming and gender diverse students. This is straight from the Ministry of Education. And then it goes on to say that teachers are encouraged by the ministry to keep a child's mental health issues secret from their parents by allowing the child to adopt a new persona while at school, including the use of preferred pronouns, without necessarily having to inform the parents that there are identity issues. You can see down the bottom there, they specifically advise teachers to ask young people how they would like to be referred to when communicating with their family, as some young people may be out at school but not at home. Well, of course, this is not the only area where the government is pushing schools to keep secrets from parents. A teenager, as we know, can be sneaked off for an abortion without parental knowledge or parental permission. And that was reiterated when the new radical abortion law was passed 2 years ago. Now, in case you need reminding, and I'm sure you don't, parents raise children. The state does not raise the children, the parents do, and the state should not be undermining their authority. But unfortunately, this gender ideology is being indoctrinated into children in all areas of education. And I shared this example in a recent episode of Family Matters. In the Keeping Ourselves Safe program, which is run under the banner of the New Zealand Police. And look, much of that program is very good. But a parent alerted us to material in the program, and here's what it says, quote, gender identity, teachers should not make assumptions about children's identity. And it says, some phrases you could use are, some children have a penis, some children have a vulva vagina, rather than boys have a penis, girls have a vulva vagina. Use genitals rather than penis vagina when the type of genital is unknown. Don't assume that a male presenting child will have a penis. And use the term parents, whānau, or caregivers rather than mum or dad. Parents, be vigilant. Be actively engaged in what your child's school is teaching in this area. Read this report, which is available on our website, and closely monitor the classroom material. Be aware of what your child is learning and what homework assignments they may be asked to complete. Ask your child what they're learning about gender, sex and relationships, and if all else fails, don't forget you can withdraw your child from specific classes. Now look, to be clear, and this is in the report, it says this: students who may identify as transgender deserve the same educational opportunities and resources as their peers and should be treated with respect and compassion. A compassionate response, however, should not mean institutionalizing harmful policies in schools. Schools have a responsibility to teach children the truth about who they are as boys and girls, to reference scientific evidence when making claims about biology, and to consider the serious implications of codifying radical theories in practice and policy. You know, the bottom line is, let's not leave the door open for our children to be taught about sex and relationships by the voices of people whose agendas and values don't align with ours. Make sure your child's school is being totally open and transparent with you. It's your right as a parent.